Hi, I'm Mark Tillison, and in this video I just want to talk about chiropractors. Just through some of the work that we've been doing in this space, we're discovering that they're wasting typically between 35 and 60% or more of their marketing budget on stuff that just doesn't work. So in this video, just really quickly want to show you a few reasons why that happens and what you can do about it. And if you would like us to, and you're running a Google Ads account, then we'd be happy to run a complete audit on your account and tell you areas that you can improve. So kind of three areas really that I want to cover on this. So the first is tracking, measuring actually where you're spending your budget and where it's working. The second is what you might be targeting, the type of traffic you are attracting, and especially if you're running pay-per-click ads on Google, for example, where you're probably wasting budget there through poor targeting. And then the final one is the sheer amount of money left on the table through not converting traffic that lands on your website into an inquiry or an appointment or a free checkup, whatever that might be. So let's just quickly take a look at the first item on there, which is tracking. So with a website, it should be possible fairly easily to track people who complete an inquiry form on your website, users that click an email link or a telephone link, or even call tracking, so we can track actually how many people call you that have spent longer than 30 seconds or 45 seconds on the phone. So not tracking those junk phone calls that we all get, but tracking those genuine inquiries and appointment requests. So you should be tracking that. Now, if you do track that, then that means you can understand which sources your traffic is coming from, and where you might be spending money there, and where those opportunities, those inquiries are coming from, so that you can invest more time and or more budget in those locations. If we drill in a little bit deeper, that's down to an individual search term to understand how much you're spending if you're running pay-per-click, and how many leads, opportunities, inquiries, bookings you're actually getting from that. So to give you an example, that might be someone looking for just chiropractor near me, chiropractor location, Portsmouth, whatever that might be, or it might be someone looking for treatment for sciatica, for example. And we can understand, and you can understand from tracking, how much of that spend actually turns into appointments and requests. How many people are calling you? How many people are emailing you? How many people are filling in your form? How many people are completing your online booking? And with that visibility, we can start to move to more automated marketing, where effectively we can bid more for those search terms in the areas where they are more likely to convert into opportunities for you, and spend less on the areas that don't work. And there are some occasions where things should work, but they are not for some reason, and that may mean that there are some issues with your website or your sales proposition, the page that you're sending that traffic to, which then can be optimized and improved, and that can be fixed rather than just abandoned. So the tracking is absolutely critical. The second area is the targeting of campaigns. So let's just take a look at the targeting options in a real live account. So there are a few strategic issues. So within Google Ads, what can happen quite often is you end up running what they call a smart campaign, or maybe a performance max campaign, where you have very little visibility as to where those clicks are coming from, where you're spending your money, and therefore where you can optimize and improve and scale. So those are a bit of a challenge. They seem quite good in principle. You know, you kind of go, this is what I'd like you to do, here's my money, go and do it for me. But actually very limited visibility and control over what's happening. But if I show you just one of the really common areas very quickly, and you can do this if you're running Google Ads, head into your Google Ads account, go and look at a campaign, take a look at the search keywords, and I'm just going to highlight this particular one here, which is a broad match keyword for chiropractor, which is relevant, and you know that should convert. Someone's looking for a chiropractor, we want to show our ads when that's happening. But let me just show you what search terms. So this is a keyword, and the search terms is what a user is typing into Google, what Google is showing an ad for the individual search terms, and then the money that we're spending there. So this account actually isn't too bad. Now, this chiropractor is in Southsea in Portsmouth, and you can see that if we search by how many ads have shown here, then we can see that Chiropractor Southampton, we've had 50 times our ad has shown for that, and we spent £10 of our budget, okay, out of 110 we can see there at the bottom that was actually spent. So we spent around 9% of the budget just on Southampton searches, which are not going to convert into an inquiry because this chiropractor is not in Southampton, okay. And then this is a competitor, Back to Health Chiropractic, Chiropractor Gospel. Again, we've had just the odd click on here, but spent another £1 of our budget. We've got another Gospel search here. We've got Chichester twice in here. So you can see that it's matching stuff that is never going to convert. It's never really providing any value to this chiropractic clinic at all. And that's because of bidding on broad match keywords. Now, I'm not saying never do it, but you need to be really careful if you are going to use broad match keywords. Google will tell you constantly to upgrade to broad match keywords, but you do need to be really, really careful when you're doing so, because this is the kind of stuff that it matches, particularly if you're using a manual bidding strategy just on a cost per click bid. If you are running automated bidding strategies, which I'll cover in another video, but if you're covering automated bidding strategies, which is really where you should be going, then you can run your campaign on a target cost per action. And that means you are telling Google you can bid a higher or lower amount for this search term, because it is more or less likely to convert when someone visits my website. And that means with the tracking that I covered in part 1, if someone picks up the phone and calls us, if someone clicks an email link, if someone fills in a form, if someone fills in a booking request, those sorts of things. So once Google understands that tracking and you're running an automated bidding strategy, it means that Google should then bid more for those things which will convert and meet your target, and it should bid less for those things that will not. So over a period of time, it should learn that these Gosport and Chichester and Southampton terms just won't convert, and therefore it shouldn't bid on them. It still will, and there are ways that you can just exclude them from your account and just save waiting for Google to learn that. The alternative is just stick to phrase match terms. Ignore this, it's slightly misleading, but these are matching the word chiropractor as a phrase, not chiropractor Southampton. But essentially you can see that we're wasting a chunk of budget here just on irrelevant searches that are just not going to convert. The second thing I just want to look at here as well is just some of the targeting options. So what I find with a lot of accounts is they are opted into Google search. That's go to Google, you search for something. There is a search network, so that would include third-party sites that may or may not be working. But this is the one that often is wasting a heap of money. So the display network is effectively you're showing banner ads to an audience as an expansion. And the challenge here is if you are running a search campaign and someone is searching for a chiropractor, they are looking for a chiropractor and they are likely to convert into a lead, an inquiry, a booking. If you are interrupting somebody on the display network, they may not be looking for a chiropractor right now, which means you are going to waste your budget on those clicks and they're not going to convert very well. So just check this display network option is not enabled. Analyze the account performance before you do that, but generally I wouldn't have that switched on. And then this is also a sneaky one that's buried, really quite deep. This account actually isn't too bad, but if you open the locations in the campaign and settings, and we have a look at locations in here, we're targeting 10 miles around Portsmouth, which is okay. And then if we look at the location options, the default is presence or interest. People regularly in, or have shown an interest in your target locations. Now, I have seen accounts where they have been paying for clicks from outside of the country. In Asia, for example, we're getting clicks from overseas. Okay, not a huge amount, but it does waste some budget. So the option should be people in or regularly in your target locations, not people who are shown an interest. So someone who might have looked for coming to your location for a visit for something, but they don't live there, and if they're looking for a chiropractor, the chances are they want one local to them, not where they're travelling to. So that's another one where that would waste some budget. And if we look at the locations report, as I said, this particular account isn't too bad. So if we look at locations that it has matched, so again, head into campaign and then locations here, and we can see, I've broken this down by cities, that we're getting traffic from Portsmouth. Great, no problem. Let's just sort in order here. So Portsmouth is really where we want to be. We've had 134 ad impressions in Fareham that we're not going to convert, and those 2 clicks we're not going to convert. Southsea is good for us. Swanmore, impressions, again, 122 ad impressions, and we spent we've had 7 clicks. So we spent nearly £10 on clicks from Swanmore that probably won't convert either. We've got a bunch from Waterlooville that are a bit far away. Loxheath, again, a bit too far away. Havant, maybe borderline. Cosham, not too bad. And then we have a bunch from Leon Solent, Hailing Island. Let's have a look a bit further along, see how bad this is. So this is kind of fairly nearby and isn't as bad as I've seen in other accounts. But you can see that it is still spending quite a high percentage of the budget that on clicks and searches that just are not going to convert. So actually that maybe 20 or 30% that's being wasted there could be spent on more local traffic that is more likely to convert and actually get more inquiries and appointments for the same budget. So those are some fairly easy things that we can change, or you can change, just in terms of the targeting of your campaigns. The final step is around converting more traffic that is landing on your website. So the key thing here to understand, which is often misunderstood, is that it is not Google Ads which converts into a lead, an inquiry, or a booking for you. Your website converts that traffic. So if we are, or you are, bidding on search terms, chiropractor in your location, sciatica treatment, those sorts of things, and someone is nearby, so it is relevant traffic. Those search terms should convert on your website. Okay, now your website will determine how well they convert. So if you have a website which is not laid out very well, doesn't have clear calls to action, doesn't have simple contact forms, huge, great long contact forms, if you don't have testimonials, if the website takes a long time to load, there are a whole number of factors which determine whether the visitor to your website is going to convert into a lead, an inquiry, or a booking. Okay, so firstly, page speed, massive factor in conversion rate. If your website loads too slowly, your visitor is going to leave before they have a chance to read the content, before they have a chance to fill in your form, before they have a chance to find your phone number. So that's hurdle number 1. Hurdle number 2 is, can I find the information that I want? Is it compelling? Is there a video about you? Is there a story about what conditions you treat? Is there information about what happens? I may have not been to a chiropractor before, so what happens when I come for a chiropractic appointment? So all of these things will help to sell that first appointment. And the final part of that is the call to action. If you make it difficult for me to understand what you would like me to do when I'm on your website, then I'm less likely to do it. If you want me to fill your form in and you're going to call me back, then nice big button, different color from the rest of the text. Make it stand out. Don't make it look ridiculous, of course, but keep it in keeping with your design, with the style, with your brand guidelines, with your logo, but make it stand out, make it nice and big. This is what you should do. Request a free appointment, request a free assessment, call us now, whatever that might be. So those are the key things. So the websites that we build for chiropractors typically would convert traffic around double the rate that your website probably does. And that's probably the biggest area where chiropractors are wasting money, is that they could be getting twice as many requests coming through their website as they are, purely by having a better looking website that converts more traffic into requests for appointments. So easily you could see where you should be getting between 40 and 70, maybe even more depending on the area you're covering, but 40 to 70 inquiries via your website every single month. And if you're not getting those numbers, or you're not getting what you should, then we'd be happy to take a look, run a personal video like this one, looking at your Google Ads account and explaining where you're going wrong and where you could get more opportunities, more appointments, more requests, and more patients through your door for your chiropractic clinic.